This is Pat Soundbytes Unplugged, the podcast where all the artists go to tell it as it is. Careers, music, tours, and more. And here's your host, the man that refuses to eat squid, Pat Calamari.
Hey, Pat Calamari here, host of Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. Hopefully everyone is doing well. Don't forget Pat's Patreon page. All kinds of good stuff. Need to sign up. You can be a part of Pat Soundbytes fan club. You can be the early access rocker and find out when I'm doing podcasts and interviews way before everybody else. You could do the fan recognition rocker and get a personal shout out on an episode or even on the radio station, or the exclusive Soundbytes. Exclusive access to extra video content from artists. And I know I'm going to have a lot more going on. Pat Soundbytes on Patreon, Pat Soundbytes Unplugged, Pat's Soundbytes IGTV. You know, when you're in the business, you got to cover all the bases, and that's certainly what I'm doing. Today, episode number 70. Man, it seems like 100 is right around the bend. Can't thank you for all your support worldwide, and don't hesitate to share with your friends and subscribe whatever podcast hosting site you choose to use. Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Simplecast, Deezer, whichever. Go for it. Today, number 70 from the UK. I fell in love with this band the minute I got a copy of their tracks. The band is called Little Red Kings. And trust me, you're going to hear more about this band. They got their act together. They sound great. If you like classic blues rock sound from like the 70s, I mean, I hear Zeppelin, I hear Little Free, I hear Black Crowes, I hear Aerosmith. They got it all going on. Little Red Kings, and I got a chance to talk to their front guy, Jason Wick, from the UK, and he talks about the band, talks about who's in the band, their name, and they got a new CD album coming out, officially released on May 29th. It's called The Magic Show Part 1. Certainly sounds like there'd be a Magic Show Part 2. So, real cool chat. And yes, I was and still am very excited for this band. There's something that you just got that feeling that they're going to be one of them that are going to make it. And don't take my word for it. Just go on YouTube and bring up Little Red Kings, and you'll see what I mean. Their live shows, there's some chemistry there, very organic, very cool sound. So take a peek out of all that. Little Red Kings. Okay, be safe. Please be safe. Let's get through this corona thing once and for all. Live, love, and laugh a lot, folks, because life is way too short. Sit back and enjoy and subscribe. Why not?
Hey, this is Jason Wick from the band Little Red Kings, and you're listening to Pat Soundbytes Unplugged.
WBXO Classic Rock Redefined in conjunction with Pat Soundbytes Unplugged. I am super excited today. A pleasure to have on the line all the way from the UK, Mr. Jason Wick from the Rockers, Little Red Kings. And trust me, you're going to hear more about these guys because I'm going to keep on playing their incredible music. Jason, thanks for your time, man. Thanks for calling in. How you making out, pal?
Pat, I'm really good. Wow, that is some intro. I'm not sure if I could follow that. I think I'll just put the phone down now.
Well, you know, it's like, you know, every day I get another CD, and it just excites me to know that there's great, good rock and roll music, whether it's created in here in the United States, the UK, Australia, it doesn't matter. And there's some really good stuff out there. And I fell in love with you guys the minute I got the Magic Show Part 1. Well, let me lead into so the fans know. We got Jason on the line. They got a new album coming out, The Magic Show Part 1. It's officially released on May 29th. It's available on all the digital outlets. I encourage everyone to buy it. Don't steal, don't download, buy. Jason and the band works too hard to give this stuff away. Now, that being said, I have fell in love with your tracks, and I've been digging, and I've been blasting it, and I just want more, and I can't wait to see you guys live once we get past this whole virus thing. Let's start with that, Jason. How are you and the band surviving during this Corona lockdown? And I'm sure it's affected a lot everybody in the UK as well, right?
It has, yeah. Well, Pat, it's probably the worst time to release an album, which we did, but which means we can't tour it, we can't gig it, and they still are bread and butter. That is still how we pay for the bills in the band, is to sell actual physical CDs, and we can't go out and about and do that. So we've just moved everything to an online presence, just trying to do as much online stuff as we can. I've been doing solo live streams, and we've been doing Zoom chats with bands and releasing little videos and things like that. But really what we want to do is get out and about and gig, but we're doing all we can to promote the album without actually leaving our houses.
No, I hear you. It's like a double-edged sword. I say in the beginning, I was saying to folks like yourself, man, what a challenge. You release an EP, an album, a CD, and then, boom, a rock wall, no live sword. But what I've noticed, Jason, is that with everybody home, there's more. I mean, it's such an advantage, I think, in a way, that people are always looking for new stuff. So, as much as I know there's nothing better than a live performance, in a way, I think it's great that you got folks' attention by putting it out there. I know it doesn't make you feel that much better, but trust me, it's great that folks are looking and grasping and wanting more and more. So, you know what? I love the Magic Show. I even went back to your album, Callous. But I've been playing Harrystown. I think my wife is gonna kill me. Going, enough. I'm blasting Harrystown. I love the video, but before we get into all that, Jason, and I hear you, and I guess there's not much more you can do to promote the album. You're online, you're doing interviews, even here in the States, which is great. I'm going to do a Zoom chat with you. We'll talk about that offline and get you and the guys and maybe do a song on that. So talk to me about who's Little Red Kings for folks here in the States that's never heard of the band. How long have you guys have been in existence? And go over who's also in the band with you, Jason.
Okay, so Little Red Kings. We're from the county of Norfolk or Suffolk in the UK, which is kind of on the east coast. There's 5 of us in the band. We've got Dougie Archer, who's a Scotsman from Scotland. We've got Craig Stevenson on keys, he's from Ireland. Mr. Ben Beach on bass and Harry Wickham on drums, and they're from the East Coast, as I am. So we're sort of from all over the UK, but now we all live in this area. We've been going for about 5 years, I'd say, in this kind of lineup, seriously. And it's going really well. We've formed, got together, had a like for similar music tastes, that kind of thing, and become firm friends, I guess, out of it. So it's working really well, I have to say.
Yeah, the chemistry of what I've seen, and for the listeners, it's hard. I'm not a big fan of genres anymore. The days of, you got to be classic rock or alternative, or, you're a rock band with a lot of 70s blues, a modern alternative. I love the piano and organ sound. The bands, I hear Zeppelin, I hear Aerosmith, I hear the Black Crows. How would you describe your music to the listeners, Jason?
Yeah, well, I think you said it. I mean, we started off and our genre was kind of a classic 70s rock kind of feel, but we've got so many sort of modern elements now. And on the Magic Show Part 1, I mean, there's some real sort of modern elements mixed in with that 70s stuff. Everything we do is real instruments. Everything you hear on the Magic Show Part 1 is a recorded real instrument, but there are sort of modern elements to it. So it's not. I see a lot of rock bands around at the minute, but what I don't see is a lot of rock and roll. The roll seems to be removed, so we're putting the roll back in rock and roll.
Yes, very organic. I mean, the vocals are great, the harmonies are great, very bluesy guitar licks, very solid rhythm section. I mean, on watching some of your YouTube videos that were filmed in front of a live audience, I mean, the folks are going crazy. I love some of your songs that start out with the piano, kind of real nice, tasteful piano feel. I mean, man, I'm like, where have I been? So I'm blessed to be hooked up with you and to be able to play your tracks here in the States. Talk to me about the songwriting, creativity. I mean, I fell in love with Said to Me, Weather the Storm. Obviously, I fell in love with Harry's Town, Almost Over. Talk to me about the creative songwriting process. Is that just you or the other folks, you guys get together and go into one studio and start out with a guitar riff or a piano, or how does that work for you?
For us, it's literally a little bit of everything. So a lot of the time, say Said to Me, tracks like that, I'll bring a song and it'll be partially formed, and I'll never finish it. For the reasons of bringing it to the band and letting the guys all chip in, and we'll do it like that, and then I'll maybe write the lyrics before or after. But tracks like Harry's Town, I mean, that we did that completely different. We actually sat on hard wooden chairs in a circle with acoustic instruments and said, let's write a song. And we all sat down and literally, I can't say who wrote that song because we all just said, and in 15 minutes we'd written Harry's Town as five of us. But that is quite rare doing it that way. Normally it'll be something where I'll bring, an 80% finished song, and then the guys will always put their side on it. So literally it can happen in any way. But we didn't really write anything in the studio while recording. We tend to do that whilst rehearsing, practicing, gigging, honing songs like that before we actually get them to the studio and record them. But yeah, any way that works. Any way that works. And I always ask the artists, today's technology, there could be a guy like yourself in the UK, but you're a member of a band in the States or vice versa, and folks are sending WAV files out, and don't get me wrong, Jason, I'm not a musician. I've always loved music growing up. And I would be afraid that I would miss some key magic without the five of yous, together, playing together and recording, So that makes, by having everybody there, as you said, Doug goes, wait, let's try this, or Craig says, let's try that, and before you know it, you got this magic. Do you really sense it, Jason, that you go, holy, we got something here, what's that feeling like? Yeah, totally. The older I've got, the more I can sense something. It's just something that you can't put your finger on, but you play. If someone in the band is having a bad gig, then you play differently. It's a real thing. I don't know how to explain it, but if someone's on fire and someone's really firing at all cylinders, then you are. If someone's playing slow, then you play slow, and it's so organic that it is a real thing. That's just the way it is. I don't know how to explain it in any other way, but sometimes songs are written like that, but all performances are like that. You just can't play a solo set. Each member all do your part. You're feeding off each other the whole time, and it's exciting, because we do gigs where they're never really the same twice. We just don't play our part. It's not like reading lines or something like that. We go out there, and every gig we do is just ever so slightly different. There'll be a slightly different feel or a slightly different interlude, or depending on how the crowd is reacting. It's exciting.
And obviously you feed off the energy the minute you get on stage, right? I could just sense it if I introduce a band on stage and the house is packed, and you go. I get goosebumps, and I'm not playing. I'm just excited to introduce the band, and then when the band comes on, and you have that energy back and forth, and you can see it. And even like you said, even if you're having a bad day, the minute you grab the bass or the minute you get behind the piano or the drum kit, you go, sometimes that smile pops out. It's contagious, right? For the most part.
Yeah, completely. I get nervous before a gig, but as soon as you're playing, that's all gone. That's somewhere else. You don't worry about it then. It's just the moments before.
Is there a better feeling that you're on stage and you see the audience singing back the song to you or singing with you with the song that those are the babies that you and the guys have created, and you walk out and you go, I can't believe our Harry's Town or something like that folks are so into it and they're singing back to you that you go, man, thank you, Lord, thank you for making me a musician, right?
Well, it's great, yeah. We're still in our infancy as a band, I feel, and it's only within the last sort of 2-3 years that has started to happen, where you see people that you don't know, and groups of people they know the words. So I struggle to remember the words. So it's just really great. There's actually a bit of that on Harry's Town where we recorded the crowd singing the chorus on that, because it's such a simple hook that I think it was around sort of Christmas time. I can't remember really, around then or just before then, that we took some mics to a small gig round here, but a packed small venue, and we recorded the crowd singing the chorus to Harry's Town, and it just sounded great.
It's a perfect hook, and it's easy to remember. And when you get the audience involved, wow. There's no better feeling. Jason, tell me I've never been to the UK. I love to get out to London and get out to Scotland. It's on my bucket list to get out there. Have you been to the States at all? And what's the difference? What kind of rock music goes on in the States or in the UK? Is there a difference that you know of? And seeing some of the bands that were performing back and forth before this whole lockdown came in place?
Yeah, no, there is a difference. I have been to the States in a previous band many moons ago, so I've seen a bit of that. And there is a difference. It's very difficult to actually. You've got bands now like Greta Van Fleet that are sort of that kind of British 70s rock, but I think it's very hard for me to say what the difference is. I think it's the rock and roll thing. Americans do rock really well, and they do the big show really well. Maybe that's just something about the Brits hiding all the time, but I don't know. There is a definite difference, but there's obviously some amazing American bands. I don't know if you've seen Greta Van Fleet recently, but that's opened up a whole kind of a whole new kettle of fish for young people and rock music. That really has. Those are kind of like four really good-looking young guys playing some absolutely incredible music. So it's opened up all sorts of doors.
Yeah, they have, they really excited me when they came around. I didn't get to see them. The shows sell out, and to listen to them, and it being such a comparison to, Led Zeppelin, and they don't want nothing to do with that. It's great that that people feel that way, but it's just good to see new, young like you said, good-looking guys that get it. I mean, 16, 17, 18, that are very talented, that have the support behind them. We have another band over here called Dirty Honey that I got to see and meet, and oh my goodness! I mean, they recorded their album in Australia just to get away from everything, but they put together a really good 5-6-track album, and I'm looking forward to album number 2. But I was always interested to see. Never really asked anyone like what's the real difference, but you, like you said, you were in the States and were with a band, so you can see. Are there a lot of other great bands that we're missing here, like your band in Little Red Kings, that you go, oh, do you know about this one or that one?
Well, I think there probably are, and vice versa. The same we're missing out on loads of great American bands. There's a lot of travelling going on. Obviously, before the lockdown, we've got some friends who have moved to Nashville and are doing very well. They're in a duo called Ida May. That's kind of Americana blues kind of stuff, and they've moved over to Nashville. And I know of a few kind of couples and sort of maybe I'd say Americana country acts that have come over here because they're more successful over here, and likewise, Ida May went over to Nashville because I think they're more successful over there. So I think there's a lot of traveling going on, and we so there's not too many gems hidden up, but I still think there's a lot, and even in the UK, I mean, there's UK bands that I think are fantastic that no one's heard of because it's just really hard, to get the word out and get your head above the water.
Yeah, I mean, Nashville for years was always, that country music city. And now I talk to more rockers that moved from L.A. and New York. Yeah. And Nashville is now the music city of the country. Anywhere you go, there's more rock stars there for the songwriting and the recording.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you're absolutely right. What was the... I kind of know I say this question, but I kind of know the answer. I think it's so important today. We live in such a visual world. I'm sure you guys were thinking, look, if we're going to put out a single, whether it's Harrystown or Weather the Storm, everything's got to be video, right? I mean, the video can go viral before anybody even buys the song or even hears about it. Was that the thinking process as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the people are more likely to click on something if there's moving images. I mean, it's extremely hard to get people to listen to something with an online presence. That's just the way it is. So yeah, we try and do videos, and we try and do everything ourselves as much as we can, because we are that kind of DIY band. We just like to do things ourselves with our own vision. So whether that be photography or videos or music. So yeah, Weather the Storm, there's a video coming out on the 29th of that we did pre-lockdown, so that's in the can and ready to be released. Harrystown, we've done the live lockdown, and so yeah, I mean that's one of the most fun parts, actually, doing the videos and kind of the photo shoots and the kind of social media part, and just messing around, really. It's great fun.
What's your personal favorite part of being a musician? Who got you started, Jason? What band? Who did you see? You have any family members that are musically inclined that you said, oh, I got to do that?
Yeah, no, not really. If I'm going to be completely honest and say who got me started, then it was literally a band called Kingdom Come, which is a heavy metal band, and I like Iron Maiden and Kingdom Come, and I just wanted to, I wanted to play guitar so badly and be like them. But then once I got the guitar, then I got more into kind of Rory Gallagher and blues kind of guitars, Jimi Hendrix and that kind of thing. And then later on, Led Zeppelin, Humble Pie, that kind of stuff. But it was Kingdom Come, this kind of cheesy heavy metal band that. Well, it still sounds great today, but yeah, that's what got me into it. I thought it'd be a good way to pick up women.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes with the turf, doesn't it? There's something about that.
Yeah.
Has there been one particular moment in your, your short kind of musical career that you're most proud of?
Have I got one moment? Well,
Probably, you might have many, but is there one that sticks out?
you know, I don't think there is. It's a strange thing. It's often the same sort of questions people often ask. What's your dream as well? And that's again asking for one thing. And
Right.
I just think the thing is a bit of a journey. Like some of the greatest moments for me personally about being in a band is some of the smaller unseen moments. Like, I don't know, just sharing time with the guys in a van, maybe after a gig at 3 a.m, and stopping at a service station and eating a pasty or something. It's so mundane, I know, to say that, but it's the whole aspect. And some of the more mundane moments have been the most memorable. You know, dancing to a band after you finish playing with your band members, drinking. You know, I should say it's all about the performance, but it's not. It's the whole camaraderie.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer, and I get to see that. I mean, I've become, obviously, from my side of the music industry, and playing new music and playing the videos, and the bands love it, and I get to meet them after a show, and you just see, you know, the camaraderie, the high fives, and popping open a beverage and hanging out, and the music is playing, blasting, and it's a good time, and you got to have that. I mean, you're probably spending more time with these guys than they are with their families, and you know, there's going to be some downtime, who don't feel good, who's got a case of the ass or whatever, but you know, everybody knows what the goal is, and the goal is the product of putting out great music. And you know, you always got to remember, hey man, don't forget that feeling that we got when we got on stage, and you know, there's 100, 500 people out, the tickets are selling. How do you handle fame, Jason, in the UK? I mean, yeah, I take it you got a really great following. You have to have a great following. Can you go to?
How do I handle fame? I'll let you know. I mean, there is no fame in this band. You know, we have a small following. It needs to be a lot bigger, a lot greater. As I say, we are in our infancy.
Okay.
Every day we nab a few more fans and we sell a few more CDs and that kind of thing. But I don't want to talk us down, but we are by no means a famous band at this point.
Not yet. You keep doing what you're doing, brother. And you can, when we talk again, you're gonna go, you know, Pat, you were on it. I mean, so you can still go to the store and buy a Coke without 5 million people getting an autograph.
Well, you know, I won't hold my breath. We'll see.
Tell me what's on what's your outside interest and hobbies when you're not hanging out with the fellas and creating wonderful music?
Well, yeah, so I run GoPen Studios, which is a recording studio, which is where we record our own music, and so I do a dual job when we do the music, because I record it and I'm on it at the same time. So that's what I do, and I love having a studio, and we have other bands and artists in, and I scratch around in there and do our own bits, but yeah, so it's just it's a never-ending thing when you own a studio. There's I don't know, there's always some other bit of gear you need, or there's always some maintenance to do, but I love just getting better at recording music.
So are you playing producer, you're playing mixer, you're playing engineer, you're playing all the parts?
All the parts, yeah, which is, I have to say, is really difficult, the last two albums, because what I want to do is I just want to sit behind the glass and listen to the band play and make sure everything's going down well. But what I have to do is kind of listen, then run back through the other side, play, then run back through again and have a listen, and then run back through and adjust the mic over the snare or adjust the mic on an amplifier, and then I run back, and it's not ideal, but we've got away with it so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds tedious, but hard work pays, and if you want, I know I can be a perfectionist, and the little things will drive me crazy, so I'd rather do it 100 times to make sure it's right, and go, man, what was I thinking, but well, that's cool. Do you have other clients, other bands come in to your studios, and you get to sit back and listen to them and get ideas of what sound that they bring in that you might be able to incorporate into your band?
Yeah, I do. It's a select amount. The one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to be in the studio for sort of 16-hour days recording bands, because I think if you really get into that producer engineer role, you really have to live it, and live in that studio. And I've not ever wanted that. It's everything for me. I do is a bit of a hobby. But yeah, I have people come in, but it's always I really love having unusual acts and sort of strange acts and people that experiment a bit. So yeah, there's some. I have some odd people come in that play some odd things, and we sort of experiment, and you get some great sounds.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the key. People thinking outside the box, and that's what excites me when somebody does something different and you go, ooh, wait a minute. I mean, anybody can do the same thing, but when somebody comes up with an idea and then you go, wow, wait a minute here, that's pretty interesting. Well, what's the once we get the green light to go back to live performance, and I know you're biting at the bit, and I'm sure the guys are too, what's the next what's the plan? What's the next direction? Do you have a label? You have someone that you want to be hopefully tag onto to do a tour, not only in the UK, but maybe come over to the States?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. As far as the plan goes, all of the gigs that we've had lined up this year have obviously been shelved. I don't know how many of them are going to reschedule. So, looking at the calendar for the rest of this year and next year, I have no clue. We run quite a tight ship as far as the calendar is concerned, and I have no clue what gigs are being rescheduled and which are being shelved. So that I do not know what's going to happen. And in terms of labels, no, we don't have a label because we record our own music. So we don't need anything in that kind of line. But yeah, I mean, we have a PR guy, which obviously that's new to us. But I don't know, keep on keeping on.
Well, there you go. And I'm going to tell everybody to go to your website, littleredkings.com, and now's the time to buy a bumper sticker or a t-shirt, and more importantly, to buy this new album, The Magic Show Part 1, dig even further as I did. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on all the social medias. The band is Little Red Kings. I am in love with this band. Jason, I can't thank you enough for your time. I wish you the best success, and I hope you enjoyed the chat as much as I have.
Well, Pat, I really have enjoyed it. You've been an absolute gentleman, and I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah. I look forward to hearing it.
Absolutely. WBXO and Pat Soundbytes, you're going to hear a lot more of this band out of the UK, Little Red Kings. It doesn't get any better than this.